Forget about the Scooby van. The press is about to drive the coverage of Hillary Clinton in a much more serious direction. A new book is coming out that raises questions about the Clinton Foundation and the way it takes in money and what people might get in return for that money. And I've been saying for a long time now that people, particularly foreign governments and big organizations and wealthy donors, they don't just give money to a foundation just to be global citizens. They often are trying to curry favor. In this case, currying favor with the Secretary of State when Hillary Clinton was in the Obama cabinet, and now currying favor with a potential president. The new book is called Clinton Cash, the untold story of how and why foreign governments and businesses helped make Bill and Hillary rich. And they are pretty rich. The author is Peter Schweizer, and some of the Hillary defenders are already going to try to discredit him because he is a conservative. He works for the conservative Hoover Institution. He's written for Breitbart. He worked for the speechwriting office of President George W. Bush. But he's also a guy who has written books, has written for all the major newspapers, and has worked with such organizations as 60 Minutes. So he is an experienced digger. And the reason that I think it's fair to predict that this book is going to get some traction is you already have three major news organizations working under what are termed exclusive arrangements with Schweizer to try to report out some of the themes in the book. And those are the New York Times, which disclosed the existence of the book yesterday, the Washington Post, and Fox News. Fox News planning a Bret Baier special this coming weekend about some of the questions raised by Clinton Cash. And so I'm looking at the Times story now, which says that it raises questions, the book does, which is coming out in about 10 days, about the foreign entities who make payments to the Clinton Foundation and to Mr. Clinton through high speaking fees, and whether they receive favors from Mrs. Clinton's State Department in return. I mean, for most of the time of its existence, the Clinton Foundation has been the province of the former president. And certainly it would hurt the Hillary campaign if it could be shown that Bill Clinton, either in the big money speeches that he gives or in the way in which his foundation is able to vacuum cash, is doing favors through the foundation for the people who are giving that cash. But now, until just a week or so ago when Hillary Clinton finally declared her candidacy, it was the Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea Clinton Foundation, and so of course Hillary is complicit in what it does as well. And I want to take a moment to say that, the Clinton Foundation does a lot of fine work around the world on difficult problems ranging from water purification to AIDS, and I don't want to take away from that, but the big bucks that donors give, you can't separate when you have one of the principals or somebody who is part of the Clinton family now running for president, clearly, practically the Democratic nominee at this point. What are these people getting in return? And if this book and this author can demonstrate that Hillary Clinton's State Department did things, went out of its way, out of the ordinary in terms of favors for those who gave money to the foundation, she's going to have a big political headache on her hands. Now, the danger here from the point of view of those who are pushing this story is that it's too complicated, there's too many layers to it, it doesn't boil down to a soundbite, so that it might make a splash in the Times, the Post, Fox News, but it doesn't get traction, as we say in the political business, with average voters. But on the other hand, this goes to a vulnerability of Hillary Clinton's, which is she's got a lot of money. And while there's nothing wrong with being very successful in making money, and if big Wall Street firms and others want to pay her $300,000 a speech, fine, it makes it a little more difficult for her to connect with what she is calling everyday Americans, to go to Iowa, to go to New Hampshire, and present herself as somebody who understands these problems. So I think there's a lot to play out with this book, and we will see whether with a push from the media, and particularly these three organizations, this book becomes the dominant storyline that Hillary Clinton, in her new campaign, has to deal with.